Welcome, YouTube friends and family, to today's Gifts from My Kitchen edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So this is actually part one of what I think will be 4 parts. It might even be 5. So let me show you what I have out on my countertop. So we have some cocoa powder, some honey, some vanilla, sugar, and salt. Any guesses what we're making? You have to stay tuned to find out. I'm actually filming this on Friday, but even though it's not quite yet Thanksgiving, guys, I couldn't resist breaking out my Christmas shirt. So I did get this from Amazon. What I can tell you, and I'll leave a link for y'all. I got a list started here of things I'm gonna leave a link to. It does, in my opinion, run small. So this is a size large. I usually wear a medium, but this is not too big, so take that into account. I also promised you I would give you some feedback on the chicken water warmer. And what it is it's a disc like this. And you plug it in. I did purchase the joining protector because I'm running it off an outdoor heavy duty extension cord. So it protects, and I'll drop both of those things below. Y'all, it's a game changer. So the first cold day that we had, about every 3 to 4 hours, their water was frozen because I have sort of a gravity waterer. So the top is the jug, the bottom is the dish, and the water runs out as they drink it, more runs out. Well, that dish was freezing like that. And I happen to believe, being a heavy liquid consumer, hydration is very important for the girls. So you simply put your water right on that disc. Y'all, it hasn't frozen once. Now, I will tell you, we have been down in the 20s, but upper 20s. Tonight, we are supposed to start a string of days where we're going to be in the teens at night. So I can give you an update, but I will drop a link to it if you have chickens. It is totally a game changer, and I feel safe about it. I don't feel like it's a fire hazard like some of the heaters and such that you put in the coop. I am not going to spoil my girls with a heater yet. Sometimes in Ohio we will have like 20 below snaps. If that happens, oh, y'all pray for me. I am going to let the girls in the garage because my garage is insulated and my overhead door is insulated. Now, it'll still be really cold in there, but not 20 below. All right, enough of all the housekeeping tasks. So last night was a really amazing event, and it was the family Thanksgiving for all the people that live in the assisted living that my mom lives in. And there are probably around 90 people that live in this beautiful community. And y'all, I was not looking forward to it, not because I didn't want to see my mom or participate, but sometimes, you know, facility style food and my soybean allergy, it just doesn't all go together. But I had no problems. So right here, I'm going to insert a little clip of the group that we sat with. It was Mom, her best friend Margot, and I did tell them that would be on YouTube, and just a host of their friends. We had the best time, and the food, y'all, it was amazing. And that really did my heart good to know my mom's being fed tasty food. They had a corn casserole that was to die for, so I got to look up some recipes for corn casserole. It was kind of like a cornbread corn casserole. It was so good. All right, I'm going to insert the clip. And we're celebrating. I'm doing a little video. I hope you don't mind. We're celebrating. This is Mom's friend, Margaret. This is Mom and all of Margaret's friends. So we're getting ready to have some turkey bird. It was really a lot of fun. All right, what are we going to make today? Well, the first thing I need to tell you is if you're not a canner, you do not have to can this, but you do need to keep it refrigerated until you gift give, and they will need to keep it refrigerated. I will also tell you, big shout out to Homestead Tessie. This is her recipe. Guys, I have made this ever since she made it in, I don't know if I put a year on there, 2019. And my friends will say, you making your chocolate sauce this year? So yeah, it's been a huge, huge hit. So since I have on a new shirt, I have put on my beloved daddy's apron. I think the only thing that would have made yesterday a little bit better is I really got missing my dad, but you know what? I'll see him in heaven. I am gonna put my hair back, guys, because I've noticed in my videos, I'm like slinging my hair around, you know, cutting so much off my hair. It's, it flips forward, and I don't want to get hair in anything. All right, I'm gonna actually make a half recipe from what Tessie made. So the first thing I'm gonna do over here, I have my Presto Precise electric canner. Now, I've never used it for water bath, but since I'm doing small amounts, I thought that I kind of destroyed the instructions, but I thought I would use it and see how I liked it, because I don't have a lot of jars for any of the recipes we're going to be doing today per canning. So the first thing I did was put 3 quarts of water up to the fill line in the canner. And you know what, y'all? Let me just take you over there. It'll be easy. This will just be very easy. And y'all, I apologize. I have my washer running, so you're probably hearing it spin out in the background. So it says, you know, fill it, plug it in, and then you rotate the knob until boiling water can shows, which is right here. Press the control knob to select, and 5 minutes lights up. So for this, we're going to use 20 minutes, so you just twirl it, and then you press the enter key, and it says insert jars. So I have already inserted way more jars than what we need. I'm actually using 2 sizes of jars in case I have a little extra. The jelly size jars, which are 8 ounces, and then I call these tasting jars. These are just the jars I've washed. And these are 4 ounces. So if I have a little left over, I can put it in a tasting jar. So these are really nice, y'all, if you are making a lot of gift baskets. So I don't have a lot of these. I have 5 that don't have things in it right now that I could easily find this morning. So I will hopefully be able to do some small tasting jars from each recipe. Okay, so it says fill jars half full with water, place on canning rack. We did that. Place cover on and lock. Sometimes this takes me a minute. Lower sensor arm, turn the green latch, press the enter key, and warm is going to light up. So let's get busy, get over. This takes about 20 minutes for it to warm. We're going to get busy and start putting the ingredients together for our delicious chocolate sauce. Okay, y'all, as I said, I'm making a half recipe. So I've already had to start over here because I made a boo-boo. The first thing we need is 6 cups of sugar. I'm sorry, 3 cups of sugar for the half recipe. And I thought I made a mistake, but I didn't. So let me get this measured out. So that's 2 cups. I put some in already. And I need to fill my sugar container. So 3 cups of sugar. Because it's the holidays, it doesn't have to be healthy, right? So I'm measuring directly into my pan, and I will tell you, you need to use a heavy gauge pan. You could use your enamel coated cast iron. You just don't want to use a really thin pan because it has a tendency to scorch. I vacuum seal my sugar because I buy it in 25-pound bags into half-gallon jars. So I do need to kind of squish out the lumps because there are a few. I do find that the sugar gets a little more lumpy. Never ever put an oxygen absorber in your sugar or it will turn into a brick that you will never recover from. All right, 2 or 3 cups of sugar we are going to add 1.5 cups of cocoa powder. Now, y'all, look at my cocoa powder. Does that not look amazing? So, my good friend Liz, hello Liz, went to the Amish store. And Liz and I do a lot of bartering back and forth for different things. Freeze drying, herbs, etc. So she got me this dark cocoa powder that absolutely smells amazing. Now, I'm not a fan of chocolate. I've shared that many times, but I'm telling y'all, I do love a good, rich cocoa or something that is richly chocolate. Let me grab a wet cloth here because I'm messy. So I am going to give this a good stir together. And this is just the way I do it, y'all. I just find that it makes a nicer product if everything is combined before you start adding any liquid ingredients. And that's just a Kym thing. So to this, we are also going to be adding 3/4 teaspoon of salt. Doesn't necessarily need to be canning salt. I am going to be using plain salt, not canning salt. It does not make a difference in the finished product, even though we're canning it. So I would think that a lot of you would have these ingredients on hand because it is quite a simple recipe. So let's go ahead and add our 3/4 teaspoon of salt. And anytime that you are making a product that you're going to can, or anything that's, I'll say, candy-like, you do want to be pretty exact on your measurements. It's not as forgiving as just scratch cooking. You know me, I'm always adding, like, let's kick it up a notch spice. And we are going to do some delicious things, guys. This is the only non-USDA, I always want to call it FDA, USDA approved recipe that we'll be doing. But again, you can simply put it in the refrigerator. I have done this for 3 years. I know Tessie has done it for years. I have never had a problem. So when you think about the product, it's very high sugar and no dairy. So I feel that it's perfectly safe to can, and I am not a rebel canner in any way, shape, or form. All right, now let's get ready to add our liquids. We need 1.5 cups of water. I've pre-measured that. We need 2 tablespoons of honey. So I'm going to do the honey first because I'm going to wait till we go over to the stove to add the water. And my honey is pretty thick. It's not completely crystallized, but it is pretty thick, so this might take a second. This is where it would be nice to have a 2 tablespoon measure. I absolutely love my Morgan Hahn stainless steel measuring spoons. I have a set both to use for cooking as well as for my soap making. For the few items that you hand measure, they have lasted beautifully. I've never put them in the dishwasher. I don't use my dishwasher very much. Oh y'all, this is like waiting for ketchup, isn't it? I'm almost out of ketchup. I'm gonna have to make myself another batch. I just absolutely love the fermented ketchup, and for a person who's ketchup picky, that's quite the statement. All right, I want to get this scraped out really well. Yeah. Guys, apologize to you. And maybe I'll ask y'all, if you're so inclined, for your prayers. If you're new to my channel, I have psoriatic arthritis and systemic lupus, and my worst affected has been, of course, my back. And I have had 4 really major spine surgeries. And I'm having some trouble that is making me suspicious that perhaps number 5 is in the works. So I just don't have time for that right now. So we're gonna let it go by. Actually, I do have a doctor's appointment scheduled. All right, so we've got our 3 cups of sugar, our 2 tablespoons of honey, our 3/4 teaspoon of sea salt. We're gonna need 1 tablespoon of vanilla. We will add that at the end. And we have our 1.5 cups of cocoa powder. So let's go over to the stove and we will start heating this up. You only need to heat it until it's liquefied. So it doesn't take real long, and then we'll be ready to jar up. Okay, I just added my water in small amounts, stirring in between each, and just added the last of the water. So you do want to stir it until it is very smooth. I think Tessie actually uses a whisk. I don't know if I'll need one or not. If I do, I will get one out. There is a clump of cocoa. How about that? And you want to make sure you're scraping down the sides of your pan, the bottom of your pan really well in case you have any pockets of dry, because this is kind of thick. Oh, y'all, there's nothing like the smell of chocolate at 7:27 in the morning. And that is our canner letting us know that the jars are ready to be filled. So since we have a lot to do today, I'm trying to do multiple things at once, it seems. But that's a good thing. I'd love to hear from you all about something. Are you a morning person or an evening person? I do not in the winter. I think I'm getting old, y'all. I do not like to leave the house after dark. And I am almost always in my PJs by 5. And I guarantee you that I will be at least trying to sleep, which not necessarily I can, at 8. Gosh, I'm surprised that I still have some cocoa globs. I thought I had that mixed up well. You know, y'all, you might want to sift your cocoa. This is the first time, of course, I've used, this cocoa. I'm turning the heat down a little bit. I started it on high. I do have a glass top stove, so it takes a little while to heat up, and I'm so used to cooking with cast iron. This is a new experience for me. But what we're looking for here, and I'm going to speak up because you know the washer always spins out when you're trying to video. I should have shut that door. I apologize, y'all, but I'm not going to leave this. You want to be really careful you don't scorch it, so I'm going to turn it down to 5 out of 10, so a medium heat. I do love Cindy. I am so grateful for this new, especially the oven. It is just the bomb. It is a convection oven. It does cook things more quickly, so I'm saving money on electric. And if y'all remember, I would always say my oven is slow. Well, this oven is fast. So I am finding that I'm having to turn things down 25 degrees. I guess my dream stove would be to have, if y'all remember on Bewitched, she had the stove where you pulled out the drawer for the burners. It was, and the oven was up here and the oven door lifted up. I think those are so cool. I can't call the name of it right now. You can still buy them, you know, secondhand, like vintage. They're quite pricey, and most of them have major repair needs because yes, indeed, I've looked at them. But for now, I'm going to be loyal to Cindy. So I didn't put the vanilla in while we're cooking because I find that the vanilla extract flavor stays a little more true if you don't cook it to death. And that's just me. The recipe, I believe you just put the vanilla in right away. So what are we looking for here? Well, first of all, no lumps. But we're also looking for everything, for the sugar and all of that to really liquefy and come together. I don't think there's a right or wrong cooking time, provided you just don't scorch it. I mean, this is pretty liquid. I'm just making sure, because occasionally I'm getting a little glob. I think that's a bubble, actually. I just want to make sure I have all of the lumps of cocoa powder out and that everything is well combined. So many noises, right? My washer sings when it's finished too. I had to do a load of kitchen towels because I've been busy this week. And now I need to make a corn casserole, right? That was so good. I'm not a fan of the turkey, so I confess I didn't eat the turkey. And the instant mashed potatoes, because I don't do instant, but they had green bean casserole, they had stuffing, they had corn, they had a cranberry sauce that was to die for. I love cranberry sauce. They did have sweet potatoes. I didn't get in the sweet potato line. And for dessert, they had homemade apple or pumpkin pie. You just got what you got. They brought it to you, but it was really, really good. Okay, guys, I am going to call that complete. It's nice and liquid. And then let's go ahead and add, I believe it's a tablespoon. Let me double check. Our tablespoon of vanilla. Okay, or maybe a little more. And y'all, if you order from Azure, this is a great buy. The 4-fold vanilla extract. It is so good. So good. I might have to lick this. I haven't had breakfast yet, so maybe I'll lick the bowl. Okay, let me reposition here and get the jars out of the canner, and we'll start filling. Stay tuned. All right, y'all. You'll notice back here I have a pot of water starting to boil. I'll explain that in a moment. Have out my first hot jar, and let me put this aside. Now, you may be like, how is this chocolate sauce? Y'all, it gets very thick when it stands. So, headspace. Now, it doesn't really specify in my directions, so let's do, I'm gonna do a 1/2 inch. Guys, this is like molten lava. Please be careful and don't burn yourself. You could probably do 1/4 inch headspace, especially if you're not canning. Oh, this is gonna be a mess. Okay. Now, I would debubble, even though it is a liquid, it is a thick liquid. So yes, I would debubble. So a little bit of prep. The next thing is I'm taking a little vinegar and I am cleaning the rims really, really well, because this is, ouch, hot and thick and sticky. Oh, and you don't want to dip your paper towel in like I just did. Where are we here? Let's go around one more time. I need to get another paper towel, y'all. Okay. Lid, ring finger tight. And jar 1 is in the canner. All right, I just put a little on my thumb to show you how nice and thick it gets. Pretty good, y'all. I ended up with about 5 pints. The next step is to cover the jars by 1 inch with boiling water. I am boiling my second kettle of water and putting water, excuse the water running, into the sink here, into that chocolatey pan. So I will bring you back and we'll get the canner started once I have the jars covered in. All right, I have placed boiling water at least 1 inch over the top of the jars. So the next is place the canner cover on, lock, lower the arm, twist the green latch, and press the enter key, and heat. Oh, y'all can't see that. Heat lights up, and the 20 minutes we said earlier lights up. Now for processing time, my directions that I got from Tessie say 15 to 20. I am above 1,000 feet, so I have to do the extra 5 minutes. And it says, once the boiling water canning temperatures reach the unit will beep twice and canning will light up. Timer begins to count down, and it will beep 4 times when it's done. I will bring you back to show you final product. Our beautiful hot fudge sauce is out of the canner, everything sealed. I really do like the Presto canner. I was afraid that it would take too long to cool, but it doesn't. Once it finishes, you can remove the lid carefully, and then it will automatically count your 5-minute rest time. So let's get on to making the next thing. So what I've done is the same thing I did originally, and that is to put the 3 quarts of water, because I dumped the extremely hot out. Put the 3 quarts of water in the canner, put the jars in, set the time. So we are going to be making actually a recipe from the Ball Complete Book of Home Preservation. If you have this book, it's on page 200. And what are we going to make? We are going to make praline syrup. So this makes about 4 8-ounce jars, so 4 jelly jars. And it says, dark, sweet, and nutty, this praline syrup packaged elegantly in a jar makes a great gift. Serve it warm over vanilla ice cream for a special treat, or you could simply use it for your pancakes or waffles. It does say if you want a lighter flavor syrup, I don't, you can use light corn syrup and light brown sugar. But for purposes of this video, I am going to make it exactly how it says. So what do we need? Well, again, we need our heavy pan. I'm gonna get my burner started. So we need 2 cups of the dark corn syrup. And I would have actually doubled this recipe, but I only have 1 Karo syrup. Now, somebody's gonna say, oh, but corn syrup is GMO. Yeah, it is. But this is a treat for the holidays in small amounts. Oh, y'all, why did they do this to me? Okay, I got it. So this is super thick. So let's get it draining out. So what do you need in addition to your 2 cups of Karo? You're going to need 1/2 cup of water, 1/3 cup of lightly packed dark brown sugar, 1 cup of pecan pieces, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Let's not set the cookbook on fire. Cindy's been pretty good. I haven't set anything on fire since I got her. And what I'm going to do here, y'all, is throw the lid in the pan. You know, this is real life, guys. Okay, hang on a minute. Let me get this wiped off. I'm going to turn it upside down, let it drain down, because I'm not pre-measuring it. I am just going to use the entire 2-cup bottle. Okay, so to that, we're going to add our 1/2 cup of water, our 1/3 cup packed dark brown sugar. And you know what else you could do, especially if you're doubling it? You could do it half light and half dark. I think that would be good too. So it says, in a stainless steel saucepan, combine corn syrup, water, and sugar. Heat over medium heat, stirring constantly until sugar dissolves. Increase to medium-high heat, bring to a boil, boil 1 minute. So we'll go to that point. Yeah, see, there was a lot left in there, guys. Do not drop the lid, do not drop the lid, do not drop the lid. Corn syrup is a nice, thick thing. And this bottle is actually colored. I didn't realize that. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat down just a touch because Cindy is on it today. And you do not want to scorch this. So this is not something you want to leave on the stove or walk away from. So the sugar seems to be pretty much dissolved already. Let me see if I can get any more out of this bottle. Whew. Sticky, sticky. Yeah, a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna call that good. Sorry about the ding, guys. Okay, so now I'm going to increase my heat to medium high. So on a 1 to 10, I'm gonna put it on an 8. Can y'all see? There we go. And we're gonna bring it to a boil for 1 minute. Once we get it to the boil for 1 minute, we will be adding our 1 cup of pecan pieces now, or pecan if that's the way you say it. I bought pecan halves because they were the same price as the pieces, and sometimes in the pieces you get shell and a little bit of everything. If it's the same price, I think it just makes sense to buy the halves and then you have them. I also don't like chopping them. I hand snap them because I don't want all that powdered type nut in my syrup. So let's see how long this takes to come to a boil. It's going to take a minute here. Come on, Cindy. Show us what you got. Oh my goodness. So are you all in the path of this polar vortex? I always have to say it that way. It's a little early here for it to really be in the teens. And then after that goes through, we're going to be in like the 40s, almost to 50 for a few days, you know, as best as they can tell. So it's not going to stay this bitterly cold yet. Now, January here is misery. We usually get our majority of snow in January, so it's coming. We've already had 2 snows, 2 accumulating snows, but I think it's actually going to be too cold to snow today. And yes, there is such a thing. All right, guys, a watch pot never boils. What I'm doing is I'm going to stir it constantly. I'm going to bring it to a boil. It's almost there. I'm going to time it for 1 minute. And then I'm going to dump in my cup of pecans and half a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I am going to reduce the heat and just gently simmer it for 5 minutes. I'll bring you back then. Y'all, just quickly look at this boil. It's a big boil, so you definitely want to be right here with it. All right, you all, our beautiful syrup is cooked, and I want to caution you, this is like molten lava. If you get it on your skin, the burn you might sustain will be severe. So we are going to be filling our jars with about a 1/4 inch headspace, and I'm going to try to have the appropriate amount of syrup versus pecans so that somebody doesn't get gypped at the end. Here's our 1/4 inch headspace. I would definitely debubble this. It is a thick product. Let's wipe our rims. Now, what if you don't want to can this? You could jar it up and refrigerate it. Perfect for gift giving. All right, into the canner we go. Yeah, drop me a comment below if you have this problem too. My recipes, as far as quantity, never come out like the Ball Blue Book says, or the Ball home preserving book. So I got 3 or half pint jars, 8-ounce jars, jelly jars, whatever you want to call them. But let me tell y'all. Oh, and your pecans are gonna float up to the top. That's normal. Definitely deep bubble, because I had some bubbles in mine, so I'm glad I did that. Y'all, look at this delicious syrup. Can you see it's nice and thick as it's cooling? So let's give it a taste. Glad I didn't eat breakfast. Y'all, make this. It reminds me of my grandma Victoria. She would make a syrup on the top of the stove with Cairo and brown sugar for us to put over toast. That is such a good memory, and it was always so yum. Didn't have pecans in it though, but they're really good. So I have it in the canner for 10 minutes. Excuse me. I heard my washer beep. I want to get this into some hot soapy water right away, and then I'll bring you back at the very end to talk about ways you might gift these 2 items that we've made today. Stay tuned. In just 2 hours, start to finish, we have created our beautiful chocolate fudge syrup, as well as our pecan praline syrup. Y'all, everything has sealed. I'm super excited about it. Thinking forward to gift giving, you may be like, well, it's kind of weird to just give them like, here's a jar. So let me just give you some examples. So for your syrup or your chocolate sauce, hot fudge sauce, you could make a little basket with an ice cream scoop, maybe some sprinkled toppings or ice cream toppings, even some little ice cream dishes, a couple of them, you know, from the dollar store. You could make a really cute basket with this. Now, my plans for basket is to have multiple items, and I will be doing a video, the last in this series, on how I'm going to decorate, including a craft. All right, for the syrup, you could make your own homemade pancake mix in a jar. Recipes everywhere all over the internet for that. You could include a whisk. You could include a hot mitt, a cute spoon or spatula with a theme that the person would enjoy. The possibilities are really endless. And I have to tell you all, I know some people don't like handmade gifts, and it's so much different than making an Afghan for somebody who may hate Afghans, or you get the colors wrong or whatsoever. This is something that people know that you put time, effort, and energy in. They may not appreciate handmade crafts. And it's something that they can eat and enjoy for the time to come. I swear my laundry hates me. I apologize about all the beeping, y'all. So I hope you will stay tuned for part 2. It's about to go down in here. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek hint. Y'all know what this is? I'm going to be making 3 USDA approved but kind of unusual canning recipes. All 3, if you choose not to can, you could simply refrigerate until it's ready for gift giving. So it's kind of for everyone, even if you don't like or enjoy to can. Couple thoughts on the Presto Precise electric digital pressure canner used as a water bath. Love it, guys. Normally, I would not do 3 jars, or I would fill up the canner, in other words. However, for the sake of the video and for what I'm doing today, because it's different processing times, and it's also something that has to be attended to, like the syrup, don't let it boil over. I didn't, thank the Lord. I decided to go ahead and do the small batch. I kind of wish I'd doubled everything, but I still have time before Christmas. Don't forget to drop me a comment below. If you have other ideas for gift giving, I'd love to hear about it. And go ahead and smash that like button. If you know someone who's hand making gifts this year and needs some ideas, go ahead and share my video. It helps me out greatly. Welcome all new subscribers. I always forget to say that. We've got a pile of you, and I'm so glad you're here. So until I see you in part 2, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.